did you do your ayahuasca shit or no?
I just dropped a pod today, but
so you can talk about it.
Yeah, I can talk about it.
I saw on Brad's story, I was like, he posted, he's like, I'm going to do ayahuasca.
Yeah, a lot of people, you hit me up, a ton of people hit me up and were like, there was split. It was either like, yo, are you like sure? And then a lot of people who were like hyped for me to do it. This is actually true. Like there was a lot of people who were hyped for me to do it and they were like really successful people. And then everyone else who was kind of like afraid was like maybe not as, I don't know.
Probably sounds stupid. What is ayahuasca?
It's a plant. So it's a root, like a vine. They grow and depending where, like the one that I took was from Colombia. Like they're in like Peru. It's basically a plant that you take and it's a psychedelic. Yeah. It's like one of the strongest psychedelics you could take.
So where did you go? Like how did you connect with the people to do it?
Okay. So, a girl basically put me onto this, Taito, which is like you guys would call him, like if you saw him, like a shaman, like a guy dressed up. He's like fully wearing like, he's got paint on his face. He's got like a headdress on and he's
now,
like.
Do they do that for show? Like, is this here in the US too?
So this guy he's from Colombia.
Okay.
So it's not really like a show. He literally, this guy that I did.
You want him to be wearing that. Like if you're doing ayahuasca, you want to see the guy in the robe. And
I want him to take it serious.
Right.
Yeah. So he's been doing it since he was like 6 years old. It's like a tradition in their family. Like the kids grow up doing it and the families grow up doing it. Like he like grew up in the jungle type shit. So long story short, I don't know how much detail you want me to go in, but it was amazing. Like completely incredible. Scary. There was a very, like, I don't know a very uncontrollable feeling that at some point you just kind of have to surrender to, but you completely lose track of time. So I guess I'll just kind of explain it how like it first hits me. I'm sitting there, I take one cup just so you guys realize.
Who are you with?
It's me and this guy.
Just you two?
I did a private thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Cause I was afraid to like do it.
Where?
My backyard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, lit.
So I'm afraid to, cause I was afraid, cause I knew
That's
that
a good
like,
way to do it though.
Yeah. Well, I knew if I took this thing, I knew that like, I didn't want a bunch of people and me be like freaking the fuck out because I knew that I might freak the fuck out.
I know when people say like go into the group setting with like random people and shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't
fucking do that.
I couldn't do that my first time.
No.
Just because based on my anxiety. But anyways, like I take this and it's just so you guys know, it's like this like really viscous liquid that's like brown and it's like a little shot and it tastes terrible. It's horrendous.
How big is it?
The shot's maybe like that big.
So that's it.
That's it. One shot, and then you took another one, depending on how you feel. So I took one, and I was like, "Oh, this is good." I'm like kind of waiting for it to kick in. I'm trying to figure out like what it's gonna feel like when it hits, and I felt like this warm sensation, kind of like down like from like my spine, top of my head, all the way down to my feet. And I was like laying down. I was like, "Oh, that was nice." And then I went outside, I'm like looking at some trees and shit. And it kind of reminded me of like mushrooms would feel normally. And then I come back in. The guy's like, "Do you want another one?" I was like, "Yeah," because there was nothing really crazy happening. So I was like, "This is simple. This is easy." I take another one. Okay. Now it gets fucking crazy. So in about like maybe 30 minutes from taking the second one, you completely lose track of time because basically what's happening, like this drug DMT is like in your system for a long period of time, but DMT is the thing your body releases when you're dying, right? So you lose all perception of like.
And when you're dreaming or no?
No, I actually don't know. I don't think so. But I know it's like your body dumps a ton of it when you're dying. So you're completely unaware kind of like of what time is like and all this. So I take this next one and next thing you know, I'm like, cause I felt very normal. This is how the high felt, which is like, I'm not trying to scare people, but for me, I kind of sensed this would probably come cause I've been pretty much of an anxious person for a lot of different types. Like same thing with mushrooms. I'm like, I'm afraid of if it gets dark and it always kind of gets there, but it always ends up being good. But anyways, I'm sitting there and it goes from like, imagine if my high was like that and then without it going like this, I was just there. So I was meaning like I'm sitting there and I felt normal. And next thing I know,
snap of a finger.
It was almost like I blinked and I was like, whoa, I'm so fucked up, like so uncomfortable too. So I'm telling you, normally you can feel like you could feel, oh, it's getting a little more and more and more. And then you're there. It was just like here. And then I was there. I was at the very top and it was very scary. But I want to tell you guys the reason why I think it's so important and why I liked it so much. It's this kind of thing, like when you take any type of psychedelics, it makes you remove yourself from your connection to your ego in relationship to who you are, meaning like you kind of see yourself for exactly who you are without like the filters that you place around like how you shouldn't be. I'm not trying to this is going to be a deep
I'm
one,
laughing,
bro.
No, go ahead.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes
You're over
sense.
there smirking on me.
No, I'm not.
So, but the point is like, it basically like all the things that I've been like trying to figure out. Cause like when you go into this stuff, you're thinking, you're trying to set your intentions and going into it. I'm dieted a week up to it so that like, I'm like clear in like what I'm trying to do and get out of it. So I'm like focused on all these things. And the thing about it is like, imagine all your issues that you kind of have within yourself in relationship to like anything you really worry about, like your deep, like the deep shit in your mind. It's all like right here and you can't look away from it. So like you're forced to deal. Yeah, it feels crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like it feels like, you know, if you have like a thing in the back of your mind, you need to fix or you need to work on, but you like kind of push it away and then you start focusing on like whatever else you can in life and you just kind of keep going like forward. All that shit like just like you right here and you can't look away from it. That's the best way I can describe it. So it like forces you to have to deal with these things. And for me, I'm such like
sorry to interrupt, but can you describe it all? Like what were you seeing shit or were you like just blacked out?
No. So you've taken mushrooms before, right?
No.
Never. You've taken any sort of psychedelics?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I think I'm going to soon though.
You got to, bro. It'd be amazing for you.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah. Why the fuck you laughing, Gabe? Just because you don't think you take it? No, dude. It'll make you better. Guarantee it.
No,
Dude, you
love
love it.
Scheduling mushrooms in the calendar. You just do it when you do it, you know?
So typically, have you ever taken mushrooms?
No.
Steiny.
Yeah, obviously, bro.
So you know the feel like the visuals where like things kind of like blend and kind of like
Steiny
almost,
thinks he's a shaman himself.
I don't know.
No, I mean I've done them with you. I'm pretty sure. At some point.
But an actual amount though. I don't know.
Chocolates, not.
Yeah, we've microdosed.
Yeah.
But like like a true dose, like you know you'll look at your hands and you'll go like because your perception of light and color and everything is so like
Yeah, that's the coolest part.
like defined. So when you look at stuff, like you'll look at all the shade in your hand and like moving it, you'll notice every movement and it'll kind of like make your hand almost like look like it's warping from like old or young because you're so detailed on like all the lines and everything becomes like very like clear.
So what's the weirdest thing that happened, or did anything weird happen? Anything exciting?
Anything exciting? I mean, basically it was just like I'm sitting there and like I said, there was a moment where I'm thinking, because I'm so caught up in like dying.
No, but I don't. Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, besides like the deep shit, because that would fuck my head up. But like, did anything crazy happen?
What crazy
Like
would
with the
happen?
guy, or did he just chill you out?
No, he was
coach
like
you?
he was singing fucking he was like singing songs like chants and he's like playing on this like harmonica and shit, but nothing like he's not like doing a dance or something. I mean, he kind of does dance, but nothing crazy in that sense. It's more like what's happening in your mind. So I'm super obsessed with like the idea of dying, like, you know, in relationship to my father dying and like he took his life and me thinking like, I'm going to die. Is this how I die? And then almost getting to this point where this is something I really enjoyed from it, that like I kind of got to a point where I never did before, where I was actually comfortable with the idea of death. Not that I wanted to die or that I want to die, but just the idea of death itself, like just became a little less frightening because I was relating it to what the thing that I was missing more so in my life was like, I had not been the best at living in a sense. And I mean that by like living and showing love to the people that like I actually love. You know what I'm saying? Cause like for me, the fear of death is like not doing enough. And the fear that like, if I don't do enough while I'm here, then I'm afraid of leaving. Right. So it made me, instead of focus on that idea of not be able to do enough, but like actually focusing on, well, while I'm here doing enough and what are we all really trying to get right out of all this stuff? Like, even making money and all the stuff that we do is like the idea is we're trying to feel loved and feel appreciated, right? Jesus. So that it made me realize like I just need to be better at being like, yo, Jay, dude, I love you. You know, like as a friend, like sharing that kind of stuff.
Yo, Brad, I love you, man.
Oh, I love you. You know that for real. But like that kind of shit I need to do more in my life.
Yeah, that's cool.
And like, you know, give people, not be mad about the $100 and shit like that, you know? So it just gave me a perspective in my life that's just kind of like, instead of being worried about dying, it should be more focused on living.
So it lived up to the hype.
100%. I recommend anyone. Obviously, you gotta be. You can't just be like, I'm just gonna show up and do it. You gotta do it in a way with some sort of reverence, and you gotta know that you want to take that step because it's definitely not. It's not like anything I've ever experienced.